There are moments in life when your heart speaks quietly, not in words, but in feelings. Late at night, when everything slows down and the world becomes silent, your thoughts rise gently. Those unspoken prayers, those hidden hopes, those wishes you never said out loud, they were never missed. They were heard. Every tear you wiped away in silence, every deep breath you took to stay strong, every time you chose patience over fear, all of it mattered more than you realize. God says He has seen the sincerity of your heart. Not the perfection of your actions, but the honesty behind them. You kept going even when answers felt delayed. You trusted even when clarity was missing. You stayed kind even when life tested your strength. This season was not meant to break you, it was meant to prepare you. What felt like waiting was actually alignment. What felt like delay was quiet construction happening behind the scenes. Your desires were never ignored. Some were protected, some were refined, and some were held back only because the timing was being made right. Blessings do not always arrive suddenly, sometimes they move gently, steadily, reshaping your life without noise. You may already be noticing small shifts, calmer thoughts, clearer decisions, unexpected peace. These are signs that something good is approaching in a way your soul can handle. God says to release the need to control every outcome. Trust does not mean giving up. It means allowing divine timing to work where human effort cannot. You are not behind. You are not forgotten. You are not asking for too much. What is meant for you is already moving closer, step by step, moment by moment, in ways that will bring peace instead of pressure. Let your heart rest. Stay open. Stay grounded. Continue walking with faith, not urgency. The blessings coming toward you are not just answers, they are confirmations that your patience, your resilience, and your quiet trust were never in vain. There is a reason your heart keeps returning to the same thoughts again and again. It is not confusion, and it is not weakness. It is awareness slowly awakening inside you. God says that when something important is being prepared for your life, your soul begins to sense it before your eyes can see it. That gentle pull you feel toward hope, that quiet expectation you cannot fully explain, is not random. It is alignment happening within you. You have grown more than you realize. Situations that once overwhelmed you no longer shake you in the same way. Conversations that used to drain you now feel less important. You have learned when to speak and when to remain silent. This growth did not come easily, but it came honestly. God says He values this inner maturity far more than outward success, because it is the foundation on which lasting blessings are built. Your journey has been reshaping you from the inside first. Before changing your circumstances, God has been strengthening your discernment, your patience, and your sense of peace. You may not have noticed it happening, but your reactions have softened, your expectations have clarified, and your trust has deepened. These shifts are signs that you are ready to receive without fear, without rushing, and without losing yourself in the process. Some of your desires were delayed not because they were wrong, but because you needed to become someone who could hold them without stress. Blessings that arrive too early can overwhelm, but blessings that arrive at the right time bring balance. God says what is coming will not disturb your peace. It will support it. It will feel natural, not forced. It will feel like something that fits, not something you have to chase. You are being guided to listen more closely to your inner calm rather than external noise. Not every opinion deserves your attention. Not every path needs to be explored. God says clarity grows when you stop seeking answers everywhere and start trusting the wisdom already forming inside you. This is why moments of stillness have become important to you lately. Stillness is not emptiness, it is communication without words. What you have been praying for has already been acknowledged. Even the prayers you never spoke aloud were understood. God says He listens not only to your words, but to your intentions, your endurance, and your silent faith. Nothing sincere is ever wasted. Every step you took forward, even when unsure, contributed to where you are now. As you continue moving through this season, you are being reminded to stay gentle with yourself. Growth does not demand harshness. Healing does not require pressure. God's blessings often arrive quietly, bringing relief rather than excitement, stability rather than chaos. You will recognize them not by intensity, but by peace. This part of your journey is about trust without urgency. About hope without anxiety. About believing without needing proof every moment. God says you are not waiting anymore, you are preparing, even if it feels subtle. And preparation itself is a sign that something meaningful is approaching. There is a deeper layer of understanding forming within you now, and it is quieter than anything you have experienced before. God says this is the phase where you stop asking for signs and start recognizing alignment. What once felt confusing is beginning to make sense, not because every question has been answered, but because your heart has learned how to rest without needing constant reassurance. This is not withdrawal from life, this is clarity settling into place. You may have noticed that certain desires have changed shape recently. What you once wanted urgently now feels more refined, more intentional. This is not loss of passion, it is evolution. God says your heart is learning the difference between wanting something to fill a gap and wanting something that truly belongs in your life. That shift alone shows how much inner work you have already done. There was a time when you tried to hold everything together on your own. You carried responsibility quietly, even when it became heavy. You kept moving forward without asking for recognition. God says this strength did not go unseen. It shaped your character, deepened your empathy, and taught you resilience without bitterness. These qualities are now becoming the very reason blessings can arrive without disturbing your balance. This season is gently teaching you how to receive. Not to grasp, not to overthink, not to question every good moment. Just to allow. God says receiving is a form of trust, and trust is something you have been practicing without realizing it. You no longer resist rest. You no longer feel guilty for peace. You are learning that calm is not laziness, it is readiness. Some connections around you have shifted, and some distances have grown naturally. This was not rejection, it was refinement. God says not everyone is meant to walk with you into every chapter. Some people were meant to teach, some to support briefly, and some to simply reflect who you used to be. Letting go of what no longer aligns is not loss, it is space being created for what does. You are becoming more selective with your energy, your time, and your attention. This is wisdom, not isolation. God says protecting your peace does not mean closing your heart. It means choosing environments where your spirit can breathe. That is why silence now feels nourishing instead of lonely, and simplicity feels grounding instead of empty. Your prayers have matured as well. They are no longer only about outcomes, but about understanding, patience, and guidance. God says this is the kind of prayer that opens doors quietly. Doors that do not need force. Doors that open because you are ready to walk through them without fear of what lies on the other side. There is also a deeper healing taking place. One that does not announce itself loudly. Old disappointments are losing their grip. Memories that once carried weight now pass through your mind without disturbing your present. God says this is emotional freedom forming naturally, not through struggle, but through acceptance. As you move forward, you are being guided to trust the timing of your life rather than compare it with others. Comparison creates noise, purpose creates focus. God says what is meant for you will arrive in a way that feels personal, not competitive. Your journey does not need validation to be meaningful. You are standing at a point where patience is no longer about waiting, but about staying steady. This steadiness is preparing you for blessings that do not fade quickly. Blessings that last require inner stability, and that stability is something you have quietly built over time. What comes next will feel like continuation, not disruption. Like something that flows into your life naturally, without forcing you to become someone else. God says when blessings arrive from alignment, they do not overwhelm, they confirm. There is a quiet completeness beginning to surround your life now, and it does not arrive with noise or urgency. God says this is the stage where you finally stop chasing clarity because clarity has begun to live inside you. What once felt distant now feels familiar, as if your soul remembers something your mind could not explain before. This is not coincidence, this is alignment settling in gently. You are no longer standing at the edge of uncertainty the way you once were. Even when answers are not fully visible, your heart feels steady. God says this steadiness is a sign that you have grown beyond needing control over every outcome. You are learning to trust the unfolding rather than trying to force direction. This trust is not weakness, it is maturity of the spirit. The blessings approaching you are not sudden rewards, but confirmations. They come to affirm the choices you made when no one was watching, the patience you showed when things moved slowly, and the faith you carried silently through moments of doubt. God says blessings that last do not rush in, they arrive when your inner world is strong enough to hold them without fear. You may notice that your reactions to life have changed. Situations that once triggered anxiety now invite reflection instead. This does not mean you feel less, it means you understand more. God says emotional wisdom has been forming in you. Quietly, teaching you how to respond with awareness rather than impulse. There is also a deep sense of release happening. Old burdens you carried out of habit are loosening their grip. Expectations that no longer fit your growth are falling away naturally. God says release is not loss, it is space being cleared for peace to remain. What stays with you now is what truly belongs. Your path ahead does not require explanation to anyone. It is enough that it feels right to your spirit. God says you are no longer meant to justify your journey or compare your timing. What is unfolding is tailored specifically for you, shaped by your experiences, your resilience, and your heart's intentions. You are learning that purpose does not always feel dramatic. Often it feels simple, grounded, and quietly fulfilling. God says this simplicity is sacred. It allows you to stay present, to notice small moments of grace, and to appreciate progress without rushing toward the next milestone. There is a calm confidence forming within you now, not loud, not demanding, but steady. This confidence comes from knowing that even when life changes, you remain anchored. God says this anchor is faith, not in outcomes, but in guidance. You trust that what is meant to reach you will do so at the right moment. Relationships in your life are also aligning differently. Some connections deepen through understanding, others fade without conflict. God says harmony does not require everyone to stay. It requires everyone to be honest with where they belong. This awareness protects your peace and honors others' paths as well. As this chapter settles, you are being invited to live more intentionally. To choose rest without guilt. To choose growth without pressure. To choose gratitude without comparison. God says living intentionally is the highest form of faith. It means you trust each day to be enough. What comes next will not demand that you change who you are. It will meet you where you stand, with openness rather than resistance. God says blessings that arrive in alignment feel natural, not overwhelming. They feel like recognition, not interruption. This is not the end of your journey. It is a moment of integration. Everything you have learned, endured, and understood is becoming part of how you move forward. God says walk gently, stay aware, and allow life to unfold with patience. You are not late. You are not behind. You are exactly where your growth has prepared you to be. If this message resonated with your heart, stay with it for a moment. Take a deep breath, reflect quietly, and allow this awareness to settle. If you feel guided, keep watching, like this video, and share it with someone who may need calm clarity today. Peace begins when we choose to listen, and this is just the beginning.